we are maintaining what has been put in place that is necessary and that is good, and restoring those things that have been broken. As we're going forward, family, we are seeing more and more people coming together for the benefit of their specific areas. And I'm not necessarily talking about nations' leaders. I'm talking about the people that live in those different nations. And as we see those people coming together, they know at grassroots level what is most critical for them and their people. And so now we're seeing them come together in a positive relationship to build up their own specific area. So family, I'm not going to hold you much longer. I'm going to yield this call to the one and only one, Dr. HENDO I.L. Henderson, Yahoshua Mashiach, because he is the one that you truly need to be speaking with, and I know you are, and listening to as we go forward in the reset. So with that, I'd like to yield the call to Dr. HENDO I.L. Henderson, the Ad Hoc Chief Justice of the Universal World Court. He is Yahoshua Mashiach, the Son of Man, the Son of God, in the flesh. Rise and shine, sir.
Rise and shine. How do you hear me?
Clear as a bell, sir.
Outstanding. Well, right now, as I come on the call, I want to just say to the United Nations, we often welcome them to the call. But, the United Nations has come to the call. They've been welcomed to the call, and it's obvious that they're not going anywhere. So now, not only have they become guests, but they also become family. As we started out with the statement of, we are the World Global Network Reset Restoration Network family, and we go on to say we are of 198 nations. We go on to tell them that we are now 9.5 billion people. So it's obvious that now we all are not going anywhere. We understand that. We know that we're going to be in a certain place, and that certain place has to be repaired. It has to be restored. It has to be put to a point where we replenish it, even of substances in which we have on the planet, such as water and other would-be things that we need, vegetation. When we become vegetarians, we have to know that being breatharians, where we breathe, we have to also replenish and cleanse the air, the oxygen, and which we all are breathing in and breathing out. Now, the United Nations doesn't need me today to even come on this call, because they know that I'm in a major setup of placing the reset now in a position where we're placing it on a would-be so-called clock. And the time clock is ticking, knowing that the clock that we were once on, for this world is concerned, was a clockwise clock that ended up being counterclockwise. And right now we're in the process of countering the counter of the clockwise. And we're going to go back to a state of putting it all the way back, and then we're going to bring it forward in its position of going again clockwise. Everyone now is experiencing all types of things in their lives, and they're wondering why. Right now, I can tell the United Nations that, yes, I am sitting in a place that has been known to the world as Nibiru. I'm in Nibiru right now. And believe it or not, Nibiru has been doing a lot of work in the last few days, in the last few hours. Nibiru has been doing its thing. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Nibiru is partially man-made, more so man-driven. And because of that, man has been able to enhance things that only applies to them being nothing more than invented. We do know that now Nibiru is really, it's taking a toll on a lot of the people. It's draining the people. It's giving people situations where the world, as we so live, call them medical conditions. Difficulty breathing, tightness in chest, pinpointed pupils, and even much more. And we do know that a few days ago, if one might remember, they heard Dr. HENDO Henderson, Yahoshua Mashika, the Son of Man, telling the world that these things would happen. They would come to pass. And even though he expressed it and explained it to them as being nuclear, biological, chemical warfare, known as NBC, much more, that's been even enhanced a little bit more, because now it has not only come through chemicals of gas and liquids and all of those things, but it has also now come to a path, as he said it would, through what is known as digital. It's kind of like technical. It's digital. It's on a frequency wave. Every noon at 12 o'clock around the world now, you will hear a blast of a horn being played. That blast of a horn that's being played is doing nothing more than trying to prevent or to slow down the bodies where the body resets itself. Everyone believes now that that sounding of that horn is only to tell the people that it's lunchtime, because they're doing it at 12 noon. There's some areas that's even getting that same sound as late as midnight, which will be classified as 12 o'clock on the would-be plane of just an average, ordinary person, 12 a.m. But it's actually 0000, which is putting you in an hour whereby, again, the body lies down, or should be lying down to get rest. But there's bodies now that don't even consider the 000 hour, because they're up and they're enjoying themselves. They're having fun. They're just walking down the streets in a zombie state. That's another moment in which the body was supposed to be able to realign itself or to readjust itself, to replenish itself, because at midnight, normally, whichever word you want to use, according to your would-be articulation of being some intelligent being, at 12 midnight, one would say you would be lying down asleep, which you're normally in what would be classified as a dead state of being. But it was a moment to get rest, so the body, again, would realign itself, it would readjust itself, and replenish itself while sleeping, because you were dead. And at 12 noon, the body does the same thing, because that's the hour in which you should be feeding the body, so it will adjust, it will reset, it will replenish itself. And believe it or not, at 12 noon, I'm talking afternoon, the average individual or a normal individual in normal situation, you would be sitting down at someone's table of what you would classify as being lunch, nourishing the body, replenishing the body, preparing it to reset itself. And all this is being disrupted now based upon the sounding or the blast of the horn. And I realize that this Rise and Shine Day, we are in now an annual moment where we're having meetings, and we're now having those moments where we're using a blast of a horn, which is classified as the shofar. And the shofar is nothing more than one of the horns off a would-be living lamb. But there's many of the lambs, they have to die in order to be able to remove one horn off of them, so they remove both horns. And believe it or not, because the lamb and the ram is very much a sacred animal to the one and only Yah, God of the universe, we have chosen to blow through that horn, whereby even the rams that are still alive, they're still carrying their would-be horns of what is known as their tusk, of their horns of the head. They're still carrying. But when they even hear the sound, they began to bow down. They humble their knees because they realize that one of their brothers, has gone home for rest, to replenish his body, reset the time, and all of those things that take place during that moment. United Nations, I know, you have come and grown so accustomed to hearing my voice, enjoying the magnificent manner in which I bring you messages. I get your messages. I read them, yes, quite naturally. And sometimes I'm very much flattered. Even I get flattered when I get those messages and letters and texts where one might be in disagreement with me or very angry. I mean, you should read them. Even though most of them, when I would say in disagreement with me, or they're those that might find themselves believing that I came to be in some competition with them, they realize that I have no competitors. God Almighty. I'm surely never going to be envious. Anyone who has a greater would-be ambition than even himself. Where his ambition kind of exceeds himself, if we might use those two words in a would-be corrective statement of, even if it might be considered to be not politically correct. But we're moving now. We're moving. We're moving forward. We're once again at the Red Sea, standing out looking, and Moses is carrying the staff, and Aaron is carrying his shofar. And Aaron is blowing the shofar, and Moses is carrying his staff, and there Moses lifts his staff and says, Yah, tell me, where do we go from here? Aaron blows the shofar a few more times, and there's a voice that comes from a dark cloud that holds back its water, that it may not shed the water upon the people, and it tells them to just tell my people, I said, to go forward. I know the people. I know those people. Very confusing group of people, if I might say. If you live amongst them long enough, you'll find that most of them are rebellious. That's totally rebellious. No, it's not for any reason. They're just rebellious. They're just not going to do it. They're going to move me from my spot. So they're just not going to do it. They're rebellious. And there's those of them that really, they're not rebellious. They're just plain old stiff-necked. Stiff-necked and rebellious, they're different, yes. The ones that are stiff-necked are those that they still have not yet come to a place in their life where they can believe in anything. They don't believe nothing. No, I don't believe it's not going to happen. No, y'all, you can go somewhere with that. No, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Yeah, he said he loved me, but I don't believe it. Yeah, he told me he was going to give me a new car. He got me one, but he said he's going to give me another one. I don't believe it, though. I don't believe it. Stiff-neck. Plain old stiff-neck. United Nation, I kind of had a little small class with a group of my friends. I call them my brothers. The world, you know them. You call them the disciples. And I kind of asked them a question based upon the Lotus, based upon a great leader of one. Even the Dalai Lama will agree with me that we had a walk with each other about a message that he had once given about the Lotus, and I asked him, what is greater than self? So I asked that question to my disciple brothers and sisters just recently. What is greater than self? And I left them, and I'm waiting for them to come back with their study, and yes, we'll be seeing each other around the grace hour of another day. They're on the fifth day, around the fifth hour. I don't even think they've even figured that out yet. So I know they're going to have a very difficult time understanding how to do and bring back this report of their own studies on what is greater than self. Because I don't even know if they have yet figured out that I set up a meeting for them, and it's going to be continuously on the fifth day, on the fifth hour. But it's okay with me because I'm laughing, because I do know it's going to be joy to myself, because I do believe that we love each other. And that's all that matters. He says, when all else fails, just love ye one another as I have also loved you. And all these things you shall receive, because in my Father's house there are many mansions. And if it was not so, I would not have said it. I would not have told you that they were there. United Nations, I got a lot of work to do. And the reset is upon us, and there's still those that just truthfully, they're stiff-necked. They just don't believe. They're going to wait until the last hour, the last minute, the last second, and then they're going to come running. What should I do? Should I close the door, or should I wait? Some of them are going to stick their feet in the door, you know that. So what do I do? Do I slam the door on their feet? Is that disrespectful, or would it be that perhaps maybe I didn't see them coming at such a quick pace, at such a late hour? Stay with me. I'm about to go, though, because I got a lot of work to do. I can't spend my whole day just chatting it up. And United Nations, you know that we're going forward now. You know that the wars are brewing. They're growing. They're getting larger and larger. And Nibiru is angry as all out get up. Can I do that every now and then? I can do a little street talk with you. I know a lot of you, your home is the streets now. We're going to have to fix that. I say we let this biological thing happen. And at the same time, let's go ahead and reset this. Let's replenish it. Let's restore it. Let's repair it. Let's restore it. I'm looking outside my window. I already got my boots on. I'm all protected up. I'm not even worried about any of those little small critters out there biting through, because They're protected boots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and step out into my work. Is that okay with you? I looked outside my window once again. I just positioned myself so I could see outside my window just a little bit clearer. It's now day. Man must work while it's still day. For night coming, no man can work. My work must go on. My days are getting longer than my nights. But even in my days, they make it dark. They send down rain and hail. Great winds they send down. But I can tell them, even the wind won't win. I said, even the wind won't win. The W-I-N-D won't W-I-N. The wind won't win. Because I and my Father, we even control the wind. I'm going to go to work. You got an hour now to get yourself a little rest. Peace and love. And nightfall.
Thank you, Yahoshua. And thank you, family, for joining us. We will be with you Wednesday morning at the same time. In the meantime, if you've looked outside your window and darkness has fallen, use this opportunity to get your rest, build up your strength. We're all in this together, family, and we're getting it done. It's a beautiful time for us to remain connected to each other and to remain in one mind, one heart, and one spirit. You know, we love you. We always leave you with John 17:14 through 17. I, Yahoshua, have given them your word, Father Yah, and the world has hated them, because they are not of the world just as I am not of the world. I do not pray that you should take them out of the world, but that you should keep them from the evil one. They are not of the world just as I am not of the world. Sanctify them by your truth, Father Yah. Your word is